Welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you are listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I understand that we are fully back. Quite a few of you were tuning in. Actually, I'm looking at my Edison map right now, and it looks like we are good. We had a power outage this morning, affected the station, affected some of the neighborhoods here in downtown Newhall, Happy Valley area. Power went out right before 8 a.m. this morning. But here at the station, we're back on. And apparently it was Delgado in the morning that messed things up. He said it's Friday the 13th, but nothing weird's going to happen today. And then, bam! The power went out, and my boss and I struggled with it here through our interview talking about our schools, but you can catch us on the podcast if you missed any of that. We're going to, stick with us. If your power is just coming back on, Edison is still saying it should mostly be back on at 9:30 a.m., so we're still a little touch and go. Stick by here at 1220 a.m. and 98.1 FM. My next guest I'm really excited about. Got a cool event that he wants you to attend here coming up. His name is David Osorio. David is the marketing and brand manager of Porsche of Santa Clarita. He is passionate about cameras and race cars, and what a great job for a guy that's into those two things. He specializes in creative branding, social media, and experiential events, and boy, has he got an experience of an event for you. David, welcome to Eye on the Valley.
Matt, thank you for having me, man. It's really a pleasure to be here. Sorry about the power outage. Hopefully this will go a little bit smoother.
That wasn't you, was it?
I hope not.
Okay, cool. So you work at Porsche of Santa Clarita. You're the brand marketing and brand manager. Tell us about your job. What do you do, man?
So I'm at Porsche Santa Clarita. It is a member of the Galpin Motors dealer group. So Galpin has, as you may know, a lot of brands in the valley.
Yeah.
We're an extension. We're in our own little private island over in Santa Clarita with the Porsche store, and it has various unique attributes that make it what it is within the DNA of Galpin. We have a museum called the Wonderground. We have a very delicious restaurant that I'd like to invite you guys to. It's called the Box and Stop. A little bit of German food, some American diner food, delicious nonetheless. So those are some of the things that make us very unique on top of what the regular store is. But me personally, what I do there is I manage the event space, the brand image, the social media, and we tend to be very active within what would be the epicenter of hot rod culture here in LA County and just Los Angeles in general. So.
Absolutely. David, I had no idea you had such incredible attractions there at the dealership. So tell our listeners where we're located, and then I'm going to reset that for you.
So the dealership is on Valencia and Creekside, right in, Auto Square. We're in our own little corner, and I think the location actually is what makes our monthly event, Cars and Coffee, successful. We're right in our own little cul-de-sac, got a giant parking lot, so on average, Cars and Coffee, if you haven't been there, we generate about 2,000 people and about 500 cars that vary from, domestic muscle cars to Japanese tuners and, of course, Porsches.
Fantastic. So I got to be honest, I never knew that you guys had... You called it a Wonderground. It's an underground museum at the dealership?
Das Wunderground is is the wonderful, one underground or basement, and it's a Porsche Heritage Hall. It's the only one of its kind in the world. So this was a very strenuous process with Porsche to get approved because they're sticklers about their brand image and their corporate identity.
Sure.
When I tell you that down to having just a single Porsche crest in our showroom, they check off all of those boxes. So to have the museum in our initial pitch for the store was a very big win for us, and very within Galpin fashion to do. A lot of the things that we've been able to do there to me feels like if it wasn't for the pioneer of Bo Bachman being at the front of it, it just wouldn't be able to be done because he tends to have the vision for things that aren't the smartest move to do there in that moment financially, because a lot of people, when they think about a Cars and Coffee, it's like, all right, what's the direct ROI? what are we going to
Yeah.
get out of this? And
Sure.
it's like, hey, just trust me for a year or two. We're gonna build an image and a brand.
Yeah.
Not many people would get behind that, but luckily
Right.
we were able to. And I think what we've been able to do in Santa Clarita, and what Santa Clarita is really as a whole and as a community, I think that's been able to be a reason why it is successful and what
Yeah.
it is.
I got to be honest. I've never stopped by the dealership for
Okay.
two reasons. One, I'm a teacher, and so Porsche tends to be a little bit out of my price range.
Yeah.
And then two, as you can see, I'm not a small man, and so I might struggle with fitting into a
Yeah.
Boxster. But to know you've got a restaurant there in your dealership, then the museum. I'm gonna give my listeners the cool tip. Watch this. Dad is the worst person in the world to buy for, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knows what to get for Dad. I was on the phone with my son last night, and he's going, "What do you want for Father's Day?" Father's Day, friends, is this Sunday. How about this? Skip the gift, skip the cheesy card. Don't get Dad another tie. He doesn't want another tie. We don't wear ties anymore anyways. Do this for your dad. Grab him and say, "Pop, we're going to go to lunch and to a museum." Dad's going to roll his eyes, but then you're going to give him lunch at the Porsche dealership and take him to the Porsche Museum in Das Wundergrauen. How about that for a Father's Day for you? And then, David, you've got an event coming up. You referred to it, Coffee and Cars. Tell us about that event.
Cars and Coffee is an event that we do every month. It's every first Saturday of the month, and it's been going on for the last 4 years. Every first Saturday of the month, 9 to 11 a.m., we have a gathering of cars. Every month, there's a different collaborative group that we work with, so it brings a new element towards the event. The museum space is in our basement, but half of the museum is a garage with a photo studio like style lighting. And so, whatever group we end up working with that month, we end up staging those cars down in the basement. So there's always this fresh element towards that event, on top of being able to,
Okay.
on top of being able to appreciate and enjoy the amenities that make us unique. Like there's this variable of just having a bunch of people there and different cars every month. I tend to go to these kinds of events all the time, and typically they'll draw out for a couple years. But I think us being able to do something different every month, it just keeps people hooked. You've got your regulars,
Yeah.
but I still see fresh faces every day. And so it's been great to have.
Well, I love that idea that just because you came last month doesn't mean you've seen what we've got going on
Correct.
this month. I
Yeah.
love that. So it's there at the Porsche dealership right there on Creekside and Valencia. And it's first Saturdays of the month. What's the cost to get in?
It's free. There's no cost at all. There's free coffee even if you get there early enough. Our motto has always been early arrival is suggested because
Okay.
even though on paper it starts at 9, really if you're not there by 8:15, the chances of finding parking are not likely.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
with
yeah.
that being said, I did want to do a public announcement and a
Please.
special thanks to our lovely business neighbors because Auto Nation's Honda store has been great to work with us. Even the big lot across the street from us where Barnes and Noble is, there was some problems in the beginning because we were just oversaturated with people. It was a lot of people that were attending. I had traffic past Magic Mountain Parkway on down Valencia, past Magic Mountain, even past the Mercedes store on both ends. And it's like, what do you do with that? But I think it was a good problem to have.
Sure.
And I think the one event that really, really, made that a big problem was about 2.5 years ago. And ever since then, every single one of our shows is at capacity with the number of attendees that I've been telling you. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
been
And
awesome.
So get there early, find your parking,
Yeah.
tool around the showroom a little bit. And
Yeah,
then,
tool around the showroom, speak with fellow enthusiasts. There's going to be something to see for everyone. The food is delicious. There's a specific cars and coffee menu that we do to simplify it for our restaurant. So
Okay.
there's always different vendors. Maybe you guys should come out one day and have a
Love
spot
that.
there. I think there's a lot to be had. So I think it's. To be honest with you, in like just Los Angeles car culture in general, our store has become, or our little community, and because it's not just our store, but our little community that we've created in Santa Clarita has become the most successful cars and coffee in Los Angeles. And in California,
Wow.
like we're often referred to within Porsche corporate to other stores and stuff. It's just like, hey, if you want to create community, if you want to do events like Cars and Coffee, which is like a very general thing that like these car guys just like to go to. They're like, hey, look at Porsche Santa Clarita. They're doing a great job. So
Absolutely.
we pride ourselves with that greatly.
I bet. And you mentioned the vision of Bo Bachman, your owner, and you know, it's in 2025. It's no longer about the product you're selling. It's about a lifestyle brand, and like you got me hooked. I'm not necessarily, as I mentioned, a Porsche guy, but I'm gonna be there and looking forward to the event. You talked about car culture here in LA. LA grew up with the automobile, and that's no secret. But you know, back